Hello everybody out there in the internet and comic book world, and welcome to another Dark Avenger Comic Book review.
Yep.
The last episode we shot tonight, but we shot it officially in 2012. This is the first recorded, even though it's not uploaded. They'll both be uploaded in 2013, but this is the first recording in 2013 for my site, what have you. There are officially 35 more episodes left until 200.
And this year you're gonna hit 200.
This is the year. We are officially in 2013.
Lucky number 13.
I love 13. And it's the last, this is for the last week of December 26th, 2012. The last 2012. And there weren't that many books.
No, though, actually,
Yeah. So, Justice League came out. I didn't get that.
Oh, you're Justice League, okay.
Aquaman came out. I didn't get that. What else came out this week? The Mara 1 came out. I got it
What came
digitally.
out?
Mara.
Oh, Mara.
M-A-R-A. I got that digitally. A few Marvel books came out that I did not get. I only have 2 this week.
Surprise.
Amazing Spider-Man 700 and Amazing Spider-Man, well, Avenging Spider-Man 15.1. For those of you that are DC fans, or for those of you that were messaging me saying, Chris, you gotta try Justice League, you gotta try Aquaman. To be quite honest, at this time, money is, money. And there's a lot of Marvel books coming out, and I'm just not really feeling Justice League. I was feeling Aquaman until the Others story arc, and then I dropped it. I wanted to pick it up again, but I'm not going to be paying for another book, which is $3.99, mind you guys, to get the story arc that they're on now with Aquaman. So I'm abstaining from buying Aquaman. If it's a good series, that's great. I'm not interested in the Justice League Aquaman crossover. I was pumped for it when Aquaman started and they gave a little tidbit for Atlantis. It just isn't doing it. I'm sorry, but I have to put the cut somewhere, and I'm saving my money for new series that are coming out in 2013, not only from Marvel, but from other indie companies as well. So, for those of you that are interested, I mean, look, I understand, I would love to review every single book out there, but money is tight, and I'm just gonna, that's just the way it is. So without further ado, Mike, you read this. Mike is an Advent Spider-Man fan.
First #1 hero.
And mine was Superman. And with Amazing Spider-Man 700, I could say that you don't even understand what it's like to have your character, what was done to my character, done to yours.
Yours was worse.
Mine was way worse.
It's like the death of Superman, sort of.
I didn't mind this comic book.
Why? Enlighten me.
Okay.
Why?
I didn't, alright. The whole book, but mind you, this is a big, thick book.
Well, it's 700.
Yes. But by the way, the book ends here. This is the main story. This half of the book, which literally is only, I believe, 1 or 2 pages from the middle. Like, here's the middle. 2 pages after, you're officially, after the Superior Spider-Man, you're in the variant gallery, where they show you variant covers.
Yeah,
then you're in a side story. And then you go from the side story into another side story, which is Black Cat. I didn't like the artwork, so I skipped Black Cat. And then you go into the infinite pages of Amazing Spider-Man covers. And then you have the news feed with Stan Lee answering all of your fan mail. So, honestly, the book, for its price, you're still paying for a regular comic, maybe plus a couple of extra pages, because it's still pretty thick for an Amazing Spider-Man story. So the whole book is Peter Parker stuck in Doc Ock's body, fighting to get his body back. And that's the whole book. But, you know, he gets confronted by Carly, and it doesn't work. He can't do it. The entire supporting cast is there for Spidey, not knowing that Spider-Man is really Doc Ock, that him and Pete had switched bodies. Pete tries desperately to get his body back. He even has his Sinister Six kind of... He's failing. Throughout this whole book, more and more of his body parts are shutting down on him. And finally, you get to see Doc Ock actually let loose in this issue. And he puts... he doesn't just punch out Mac Gargan, he rips his face off. Almost literally.
And physically.
And then it just goes into a fight between Doc Ock and Spidey. Spidey tries to use Doc Ock's Octobot against him, but every turn, Doc Ock is one step ahead of Pete. And in the end, unfortunately, and for those of you that, you know...
Can I just say something? You know what really got me? That I think either Spider-Man was going to kill Doc Ock, and he couldn't because of the memories that he had of, like, saying that, you know, he had his memories of himself
all of
to
Pete's good memories flood into Doc Ock's mind.
And it was his weakness not to kill him.
Yeah. And even to save Doc Ock himself. And in the end, Pete just says, please promise me you'll protect them. Please promise me you'll do, you know, what's right. And then he says, with great power. And then Doc Ock in Pete's body says, must come great responsibility. I understand. And then Pete says, you better, you're Spider-Man now. One last thing Pete asks before he dies is to see MJ one last time. And then he says, promise you'll keep him safe. He promises. And I'm not going to say what happens to Pete next, but you guys probably by now know. And that's where Doc Ock makes the proclamation, I'll be the better Spider-Man. I'll be the superior Spider-Man. And you guys guessed it. This is going to lead into Superior Spider-Man.
I don't know if
I didn't hate this issue. People have sent death threats to Dan Slott.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far.
People have animated Stan Lee with his hand like this over a shredder with the number 700 going in the shredder. And what people have to understand is Dan Slott is a writer. He's a writer. He wrote this story and he's done something original. And, you know, honestly, would you guys have rather have seen what happened in the Ultimate Universe happen in the regular universe? Where it's Norman Osborn versus Peter Parker and they both die like Superman? Would you have rather have seen Norman Osborn in Peter Parker's head instead of Doc Ock? At least Doc Ock has the capabilities of being somewhat good.
Well, then again...
Even in Spider-Man 2, he was good.
Well, then again, he is a scientist like Spider-Man.
But I'm saying, think about Spider-Man 2. Remember, in the very end?
But it's just like, I mean, when Superman changed, I mean, your thoughts were like...
But what people don't understand is it's not permanent. Nothing in the comic book world
he better come back soon.
Is ever permanent.
Maybe he'll come back at the end of this year.
You don't know. It could be the end of 2016 when they decide to bring Peter Parker back.
Well, I hope so.
I have faith in Dan Slott. I may be one of the few that say it, but I have faith in what Dan Slott's doing. He's doing something different. He's taking Peter Parker out of the Spider-Man equation and putting somebody else into it. Now, I'm not here saying, oh, this is a brilliant idea, it's going to go great, it's going to sell millions of copies, and anybody who thinks otherwise is crazy. There's a lot of room for things to go wrong. And, if you didn't notice though in this book, there is a failsafe if things go wrong to revert back. So, there is a trapdoor within this book. You have to read it to see what the trapdoor is. But if things don't work out with the Superior Spider-Man, Dan Slott conveniently put a trap door in this book so it can go back. Very simply. I can label a million ways off the top of my head how things could revert back like that. Will it happen overnight? Of course not.
No.
I just think people need to wait and see what happens. A lot of people say, you know, when I was pissed about Superman and what they did to him in DC. Now, Peter Parker's body is still intact. The status quo, other than him being in his own body, hasn't changed.
Well, you were kind of a little yourself when you first heard it.
Will you let me finish? This isn't reinventing. Superior Spider-Man is not reinventing Spider-Man. It's starting a new story with Spider-Man. Whereas the New 52 Superman was a complete, what's the word I'm looking for? Retcon of the character. This isn't a retcon. They're moving forward in life. They just took Peter Parker out of his body for a while. And you know what? I wouldn't be, you know, a lot of people are hating it now. Watch there be at least a handful of fans in the first issue that say, you know, I might actually like Doc Ock. And they're going to get you guys to love Doc Ock. And then when they're ready to bring Pete back, they're going to stab all of you guys in the back because they're going to have some type of screwed up ulterior motive that Doc Ock had. And you're going to be like, but I loved him. I actually finally loved him. And then it turns out he had something up his sleeve at the end. Because that's what they'll do. That's what writers do. As a writer myself, we look for emotion. Writers look to bring out emotion in people. And the fact that everybody is so pissed off about Spider-Man 700, Dan Slott knew he was going to have to go into hiding. He made mention of it. He knew it was going to be an impact. That's why, as a writer, I think he did a good job. It could have been done a whole lot worse. But he drew out the emotion of the readers. And now it changes the way you look at Spider-Man, at least until Peter Parker comes back. And maybe past that, you don't know. But it changes the way we all will be looking at Spider-Man. Whether he be superior or amazing, it's going to change the way we view Spider-Man as of this moment. And speaking of which, Avenging Spider-Man 15.1, which takes place right after that book. Doc Ock's revelation inside Pete's body. The first page, Pete waking up. And it's Doc Ock in his body saying, I beat him. I beat Spider-Man. And now, it's all about Doc Ock figuring out how to make a better Spider-Man. And it goes through everything. The whole history of what happened since Big Time and how it all happened. And he's creating the new costume that he'll be actually using as a Superior Spider-Man. You got MJ that he's trying to get back together with. And then you see a guy who's getting robbed. And this is where that trap door is, almost as if reflex. He knocks the guy down. He says, that was instinct, I suppose. So Peter Parker is still in there with Doc Ock. Whether you want to believe it or not, he's still part of Doc Ock's brain somewhere. So Doc Ock goes to his old hideout and he sees himself and he gets so mad at the end. He's like, I tried as Doc Ock and I failed. I'm better than that. I must be better than that. I'm better than that weak chin fool. I'm better than Otto Octavius. And then that's where, in day 5, you see the dawning of the new costume. And Dr. Octopus is dead. Long live the Superior Spider-Man. And I'm actually, I hear the anger in your voice.
The costume looks almost alike, but I'm trying to like it. I'm trying.
And I'm actually going to be checking out the next Avenging Spider-Man because it looks interesting. And now I want to actually, if anything with Spider-Man, I'm actually interested in seeing what's going to happen now with a new Spider-Man teaming up with the Marvel superheroes. So, if Amazing Spider-Man's End did anything, it got me re-interested in Avenging Spider-Man. Not even, I dropped it at issue, 8, 9?
Around there. 8 months.
Not even 5, 6 issues later, I'm ready to jump back on.
Yeah.
So I understand why people are upset. Listen, I've been there with Superman, with a lot of things. And you have every right as a reader to be upset. But that's what writers want. They want you to feel. If you have such a strong emotion towards the book, whether you love it or you hate it, if it makes a reaction in the reader, the writer has done his job. And Dan Slott, love him, hate him, want to kill him, did his job brilliantly. 5 out of 5 stars, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Actually 4 out of 5 stars. I take a star away because it basically reset everything here, and the only thing that this book was good for was to show you the new Spider-Man costume, and once again Dr. Octopus saying, I'm going to be better than myself, my old self, and Peter Parker. So really they should have just bundled it together and given you one flat rate or something, in my opinion. What about you?
I was just saying that I didn't like the whole idea thing because, I mean...
How many minutes are we at?
16:25.
Go.
Okay. I was just saying that the reason why I felt that I didn't want this to happen is because, think of it this way. Doc Ock is a villain.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So, why
But he has done good things in the past.
Yeah, okay, but hold on.
Hold on.
But with the whole thing that happened with the Sinister Six thingamajig, where Doc Ock was going to kill him, and then the whole other thing that happened, why would you put a villain's body, a brain in a superhero? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, look, it may be a good thing.
Right.
It may not be a good thing.
Right.
I'm going to give Superior Spider-Man a chance. I'm going to give it a chance. But I'm telling you right now, if I do not like what I see, I'm going to speak the truth.
Okay.
Now, I'm getting 50-50 with Spider-Man, with Doc Ock. I'm thinking, okay, in some ways it's good. But putting a villain with a good guy is the only thing that bothers me because
Doc
you can't...
Ock, out of the whole rogues gallery, is the only rogue, maybe out of 1 or 2 others, that has the potential, though,
yeah, but
to do some good.
But I didn't finish. I was going to say, yes, he can do some good. But can it last forever? And
oh, it's not.
Right, because what if they make Spider-Man into, like, let's say his memories, like, let's say, don't come for once. Like, let's just say his memories, like, they come once in a while, and then there's this one issue where his memories don't appear, and then he becomes a villain and everything else. Because sometimes villains, you know, they can feel what a superhero feels like, but what if the memory doesn't come intact? And then he just starts killing people one by one, or almost killing people one by one.
You're treating this like it's real.
No.
I doubt that story would ever happen.
No, I'm just saying if his memory doesn't come in to say, no, this is wrong.
Then Peter Parker would pop up in his brain and kick his you-know-what.
But what if it doesn't? They could change the stories in so many ways. Or maybe, like you said, maybe he'll go in the trap, those door thingies, whatever you said, and it could be half of the month or a year or 2, who knows. What I'm saying altogether is, I don't like the fact that Doc Ock is in Spider-Man's brain, but I am going to give Superior Spider-Man a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you right now, I am going to speak my mind the truth. I am not going to lie, and I'm not going to say, oh, this is good or this is not good. I'm going to speak the truth.
Oh, I understand.
Because that's what we reviewers do.
I agree.
So, I'm going to try to like it.
You don't have to agree with me on anything I say.
But I'm saying, I'm going to try to like it. But if I don't like what I see, it goes. For me. Maybe not for you, but for me. So
if I don't like it, I'll drop it too.
Okay. But let's see for ourselves. It's a new year, new beginning. Might be good, but let's see. I'm giving it a chance. Superior Spider-Man. So, I give Dan Slott credit though, for what he did.
He did something unique.
Yes, I'm not gonna. I mean, I wouldn't go that far sending death threats or this and that.
It's a fictional story.
It is. Yes.
How much of a life do you have if you're sending a writer who's writing a fictional, flat, almost nearly flat book
Yeah.
with a superhero, a death threat.
It's business. I mean, business means you have to create new ideas. And what he did was brilliant.
How do you threaten, I'm going to kill you because you changed a fictional character?
I wouldn't go that far. What I'm saying, Dan Slott, is I'm on board, but I'm just hoping what I see is something
good
that I can read and that I can look forward to reading. But I'm going to give it a chance. But Dan Slott, I give you a thumbs up. You did something good. It's business, and business means you had to do what Marvel wanted. And it's bringing something to the Marvel Universe.
God, I left that there.
Yeah, I saw what you did there.
God, I left that there.
But anyway, guys.
I knew it. I knew I was going to forget I left that back
But
there.
to all my reviewers out there, I'm giving it a chance. I think you guys should do the same as well. If you want. You don't have to agree or disagree with me.
Mm-hmm.
I would say give it a chance. Because I am, and he's being my first favorite superhero. I'm giving it a chance. And that's all I have to say. That's my opinion of Spider-Man. Like what I say, don't like, agree, disagree. Up to you guys. Your opinion.
I know there's a million of you guys out there watching this video right now, and you're going to probably comment below saying the story's crap. How could you enjoy it? How could you give it 5 stars? How could you do this? How could you do that? Guys, think about it. If a billion people don't like this idea and sales are terrible for Superior Spider-Man, what logical step would there be?
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
You might like it.
You know, I had 1,000,001 people tell me when they rebooted retcon DC 2 years ago, give Superman a chance. I held on for 12 issues.
Oh, I remember.
And you know what? I grinded my teeth, but I read for a full year almost. Whether it be in front of the camera reviewing or just behind the camera for my own personal reading, you know, thing where I wouldn't review it. I held on for half a year. I didn't like it. I dropped it. Will DC revert? Probably not, because other people are loving the new DC. Marvel is doing something new with Spider-Man. If the readers, the majority of readers, don't like it, they'll fix it. If the majority of readers do like it, they're going to go with it for a bit. Personally, I'm interested in seeing what happens.
That's me too.
Is this a good move? I don't know. Is this a bad move? I don't know. What I do know is Dan Slott pissed off 90%, maybe not, dare I say 95% of the Spider-Man fan community. And they want to see Dan Slott fired, off the book, ASAP, and somebody new. I know it. But even Stan Lee, who has a variant that's going to have, from Midtown, he's going to have these signed. There's going to be, it's a $400 book if you want to get 700 signed by Stan Lee. He's going to sign the book. He read the book. It's in the letter column. He read it. And if Stan Lee, the creator of Spider-Man, the man who invented Spider-Man and has been reading every single issue, all 700 issues worth,
90 years old.
plus, 90 years old, plus, if he's okay with it, then that says something.
Yeah. That says a lot of things. Oh, I have to excuse me.
So, my point in this whole thing is to give it a chance. If Stan Lee, the creator, is willing to give it a shot, if Stan Lee is willing to, say, he's behind Dan Slott, especially because I'm a huge Stan Lee fan and I believe in Stan Lee, I definitely say to give it a shot. And yeah, I'm just trying to push the time, honestly, because there's only 2 books. So that's it. 5 stars, 4.5 stars. My suggestion is, guys, check it out. Check it out. See if if it's enjoyable. Give it a shot. I don't say you have to get Avenging Spider-Man, but give Spider-Man 700 a shot. And for those of you that are going to say, you should have checked out Justice League and or Aquaman, as much as I would like to, finances as well as my interest, it's just not there. It's not strong enough for me to say, okay, I'm going to check out Justice League and Aquaman. Would you want to read Justice League and Aquaman?
No. No, I'm reading Justice League Dark.
Right.
And Justice League, I mean, I've seen some of the stories which are a little not so Justice League. And Aquaman was so good, and ever since that whole thing with the Lost Atlantis and now
the others.
Yeah, and the other things, it's like, what happened? It was so good, Aquaman. What happened?
A lot of people still like it. A lot of people still like it. I just can't afford to pick up any more books right now, and I might actually be going back to Flash in a very close time, because there's a mention of Wally West coming back. I want to read that, so
that'll be good.
That's a book I'm willing to jump back onto with DC Comics is The Flash, to check out what they're exactly doing with Flash. But other than that, there's really not much other than the Bat books that I'm really interested in, and Green Lantern, of course, the Green Lantern books from DC. Right now, DC's just at a stalemate with me, and you're going to be reading the Justice League of America with Green Arrow very soon, so that's another book I'm going to be getting, so can't afford it.
And there's also Punisher Nightmare, which I might maybe.
Getting it, got issue 1 next week.
Okay, never mind.
So, there's just too many books, guys, and I can't afford to add more books, especially if I know I'm going to be about the story. So
I really wish I could
don't
help,
have
though.
it. One day. So, didn't have the money for them, didn't have a strong enough interest for them, so you want to go behind the camera and we'll close off this episode?
Alright, so Happy New Year, guys, and may
Happy
2013 bring high hopes for everybody.
So, for those of you that are of the web browsing, comicrelated.com, you can go there for all your comic-related news, reviews, and more. They even update on the weekend. So you get 24/7, 365, 366 on leap year, days worth of comic news. Definitely go check out comicrelated.com. Also, don't forget we have a Facebook page of Dark Avenger Inc. We put all of our stuff there because we don't use Twitter or anything else other than YouTube. Facebook.com/Dark Avenger Inc. Just letting you guys know that one. Avenging Spider-Man 15.1 was a pretty good book. Must you get it? It would be a good companion, but if you have to put it down for a week. And Amazing Spider-Man 700, the final issue, landmark. Love this cover. Glad this was the regular cover, but most of the variants were reasonably priced, and some of them were actually the same price. So definitely something. I know that Steve Ditko did the cover for 700, which was a whoa, but this was a really interesting issue, and I would definitely recommend anybody who's a fan of Marvel or Spider-Man to definitely check this out. Even if you're not reading Spider-Man at the moment, check it out, because it's definitely something that's going to change the Spidey universe. Take care, everybody. Keep reading, keep collecting, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Later, guys.